Hi guys, you probably got to know that this is going to be my record collection. I did that way too enthusiastic and way too forced. However, I have a record player since Christmas, and I think you saw me opening records for VNYL. And I plan to do a second one, but probably throughout this video it's going to become clear why my second VNYL packet hasn't been opened on camera. It kind of turned out shit, that's the way. I have a record player that's been handed down from my dad. It used to be his before. It's a DJ Tech USB kind of one. I don't know what kind of one, and I don't know how pricey it is. So below the records that I'm going to show, I purchased mostly from my own money. Some of them were given to me as presents, and some were given to me by my parents as presents. And honestly, all I spent my money on right now is records. I'm just a really big music fan and I love to watch record collection videos on YouTube, so I figured why not show you all my records. And yeah, before talking a lot about stuff, start with my 7 inches, yay, because they're so fun. We're gonna move up. Yeah, that's how we do it. We have something really odd. Looks pretty dull. I've got Peter Doherty Collie Kibber as a single 7-inch record, and this was given to me by my dad. It's been released on Clouds Hill Records, which is a small record label from Hamburg, which is quite near where I live, and Pete actually released his newest album and stuff with them. You'll probably see loads of Pete Doherty stuff in this collection because I'm actually a big Libertines fan, so you're going to see a lot of it. This is actually quite cool because it was limited to 1,200 copies, and I've got number 644. Next off, I have a German band called Trümmer, which translates to rubble, and this is the 7-inch with In all diesen Nächten and Der Saboteur. The next one is a Record Store Day release, and this is The Districts Ordinary Day. I love The Districts. I think I saw them at Hurricane Festival in 2015. They're really cool. I think are on the same label as the Black Keys, and they kind of sound a little bit like that. I'm really excited. I don't know if their new album's already out because this was the teaser for the album, so and I just really wanted it for some reason. The record itself is clear with a little bit of milkiness. So on this A side it has Ordinary Day, which is a beautiful song, I'd say. I'm really excited for their new album. The first album I liked it, and this one I'm also excited for. And on the B side it has a song called Lover, Lover, Lover. The last 7-inch that I have is a German band as well. I kind of have loads of German bands on 7 inches. This is called Hand in Hand, which means hand in hand, by the band In Schwarz, which doesn't really exist because this was a publicity stunt by a bigger band called Kraft Club, which are really big, and they released just like for their second album they released loads of like a few copies loads of copies, a few copies of their first single, Hand in Hand, Hand in Hand, as this band, and no one knew who they were, and everyone was just raving about it. Who's this band? It's such a good song. And then they said like, oh, surprise, it's us, and I'm really happy that I got my hands on it. Moving on to the 10 inches, where I also have quite lots of a few. Sit back and listen. First off, I have the Submarine movie soundtrack by Alex Turner. I love the movie, and I think I love the movie because of the story, because of the director. It was made by who was it? Richard Ayoade. I don't know how to spell his name. And the soundtrack was so beautifully made by Alex Turner from Arctic Monkeys. I just loved it from the moment that I saw the movie. The next thing that I have is Wolf Alice Creature Songs EP. Woo! I love Wolf Alice, and I'm really excited for their new album that's coming out in September. If you don't know who Wolf Alice is, they are a band from London with Ellie, the lead singer, and they can do just loads of genres of music. This EP itself is pretty grungy. This was the EP that gave them the kind of grunge label. It's just this grunge band, and I love the cover. I love the design actually. It's really simple, but I love the colours and stuff like that. So it's got 4 songs on it. It's got Moaning Lisa Smile, Storms, Heavenly Creatures, and We're Not the Same. The next one is another Wolf Alice EP, and I don't know if I have to censor this, but this is the Wolf Alice Blush EP, and this is a beautiful one. I've never heard like an EP that is so versatile. Could you say versatile? It has so many genres on it, and every single song on this is so different from the other. And it's so it's got, again, 4 songs on it. It's got Blush, She, Nosedive, and 90 Mile Beach, and I love every single song of them. If you haven't heard of Wolf Alice, listen to Blush and She, and then you kind of have the entire spectrum of what Wolf Alice can do. Blush is just such a beautiful song. It starts so slow and so sweet, and then it just builds up in the end. And Blush is just, and She is just a full-on punch in your face. Next up, I've got another EP. It's the Declan McKenna Stains EP. I don't know if we can see this now. And this is something I ordered from France, I think, because this was only released in France. I'm a big fan of Declan McKenna. He has his album out since Friday last week, and it's beautiful. Some of the songs that are on the album are on this EP, because this is just a collection of the songs that he released before he released the album and stuff like that, kind of preview again. But the album is really beautiful and still in the post, so if I do an update of my record collection, it's gonna come. I love him. I think he's just 18 or 19 years old, and he writes such mature songs. And my last 10-inch is from this year's record store day, and this is the Blossoms picture disc that I got, where they play with the Joe Duddle and the Number 6 ensemble live somewhere. Okay, just to clarify one thing, my LPs are in alphabetical order, and if there's a solo artist, I don't sort them by their last name, I kind of sort them by their first name. This is going to be tough now. First up, I've got something that VNYL sent to me and wasn't shown because it was my second package. This is Apollo Up Chariots on Fire. Even though it's quite beautiful because it's completely golden chariots on fire. Next off, because we don't want to be negative on this, I've got my favourite album of all time, which is Whatever People Say I Am, That's What I'm Not by Arctic Monkeys. I freaking love this album. This was their first album, which was released in 2006. I think every single song on this is just a big banger. It's just, the songwriting of Alex was on point at the time. The sound of them was on point at the time. I know that they evolved the song, their sound quite a lot over time. I love the design of the entire album. It's just, woo! And yeah, the sleeve looks like this. It's pretty cool because they actually never really show the band, only when they sit in the car right there, but you can't really see them. And yeah, this is the vinyl. It's pretty cool with the ashtray in the middle here. Yeah, on the other side is just pitch black. The next album is another Arctic Monkeys record, and it is AM by the Arctic Monkeys. It's not my second favourite Arctic Monkeys record, which people could think it is. My second favourite is Favourite Worst Nightmare, which was like the first album of Arctic Monkeys that I got into. But I just never came to pick it up, and this one was just like €7 for some time, so I had to pick it up. It's a brilliant album anyways, but we are like very far away from the style that was on Favourite Worst Nightmare. AM is completely different. The album summarizes a sleepless night, which This is why I am after your girlfriend or boyfriend's left you and you just go out and drink and can't get to sleep, can't get any rest. Pretty restless, this album. Next up is something that I just picked up recently, which is Blur's favorite. Oh, I can't talk today. Blur's first album, Leisure, and the vinyl itself comes on a turquoise. Next up is something that my dad handed down to me again because he had it twice, and this is Broody Dell. What is the album title? Deployed Love, and the record is a cool picture disc which looks like this. Pretty cool, and the back it just has a leopard print. My next record is again a Record Store Day release of this year, and this isn't even an album. I think it only came out for Record Store Day, which is pretty cool for me. This is Young, Dumb and Full of ... by Cabbage. I'm not a particular big fan of Cabbage, but I do follow them a lot. It's a punk band from Manchester, I think, and because it is, it comes with 2 records. It is a Record Store Day release. I had to make it special, and they made the record this disgusting orange. I think orange is the most disgusting colour. It reminds me of vomit, but I think that's what they tried to recreate. I don't think that they wanted to look cute or cool. The next record is something that my dad got me for Christmas when I just first got my record player, and I kind of asked for it. This is Church's Every Open Eye. I know it's not something that really fits the rest of the stuff I listen to, but I love Church's. I love Lauren Mayberry and her songwriting and her stage presence. So this is, when you open it up, you see the band, see Lauren and the other 2 guys that play the synthesizers. And this is the vinyl. It's just white with the flowers in the middle. Yeah. Next off we have something that VNYL sent me, and it was in my VNYL opening, and this is Communions, the album Blue by Communions. I think I talked about them in my VNYL video, that I love the cover. After again talking about VNYL, we have something else. It's the Drive motion picture soundtrack, which is pretty cool. If you haven't seen the movie Drive, do it. If you saw a trailer of Drive and felt like, oh, this probably isn't for me, watch it anyway. It's one of the best films that I've ever watched, and the soundtrack to it is just as good as everything else. It is a gatefold, so it has this iconic scene with Ryan Gosling and what is her name again? Carey Mulligan. And the cool thing actually is the vinyl is flashing pink, a little bit see-through, but I think this makes it even better. It doesn't look as fluorescent on the camera as it is in real life. Next up is another Record Store Day release of this year, and this is the Duke Spirit Serenade EP. And again, because it is a Record Store Day release, it has to be special, so it comes in this baby pink. Ooh, now it's one of my favourite releases of 2017 already. Controversial, but it's Humans by Gorillaz. Many people don't believe that I listen to Gorillaz, and I've never really listened to them before, but when I heard Humans, oh god, I loved it. I would love to make a party and just play this one. It's the soundtrack for the End of the World party, actually, and I think in one interview Damon Albarn actually said that, and I was like, I got it, yeah, he meant it as an End of the World party remix kind of thing. Woo! Oh, it's time for ranting about VNYL again. 93 by Halsey. I gotta listen through this, and it's not bad. I did put this on second and third time sometimes. I think one of the songs, I think it was Empty Gold, was pretty cool. Sounds like Churches if they were from America. And the vinyl is blue, completely blue, which is kind of cool. Okay, I've got a story with this artist. This is Jake Bugg's first album, self-titled Jake Bugg. When this came out, he was 18 and I think I was 17. But I only had shit to talk about this guy. I thought he was pretentious, that people say he's talented, but he's just saying, oh, I'm inspired by these old artists and wah. Fast forward a few years, I love this album. The next one that I have for you is also from Jake Bugg. It's his newest album, which is called On My One. The next album is from my favourite solo artist, and I wish I had more of him, but most of my favourite albums were released at the time when not very many records were sold. So they are kind of pretty expensive. I think on Discogs at the moment they're at 150 euros. At some point I'm gonna get there, but it's Jamie T, and this is the album Carry On The Grudge. I have to get his newest album. I love his newest album, which is called Trick. I actually have like a poster of it back there, but I haven't come around it, so I have this one. This record was given to me by a good friend because it's a fucking meme for us. It's The Killers' Hot Fuzz with, most importantly, Mr. Brightside on it, and Mr. Brightside fucking haunts me. Everywhere I go, Mr. Brightside comes on. Now this could be potentially boring for you, but because now you're gonna see 3 albums in a row that are from a German band, but I'm listening to mostly English bands, and I'm not English, so why shouldn't people be educated about stuff that might not be from their language, from their mother tongue, from their own language? I can't fucking talk. It's a Sunday afternoon, guys. The band I'm talking about is Kraft Club. Whoop whoop, it's them. This was their first album, which was called Midcar with K, because they wrote club with K, that's why, with K. This is a great first album. There's not one song that I don't like on this album. Yeah, actually this is like some comic versions of the people in the band, if you'd like to know, just because the album is pretty white. The disc is also white. Next off, I have the best album of them, in my opinion. This is this one. It looks exactly the same, but it's in black, and that's what the album is called, Kraft Club in Schwarz, in black. Talked about this in black, in Schwarz before. That was the teaser for this album, and this album is great. If you like stuff of them, get this thing, listen. It's gonna change your mind. I was obsessed with this album for about half a year. That's gotta say something. So this is the inside again, the comic versions of the band. This time they're wearing black. Now the newest album, which came out just a few weeks ago, and oh boy, I've got opinions about this one. I don't hate it. Sorry, that was a burp. Don't hate it. I just don't think it's as good. It is as good as the other albums. This is Kraft Club, Keine Nacht für niemanden. This is a quote pun with kind of Macht für niemanden, but you probably don't need to know. Some of the songs on here are actually quite good. I like them, but some of them are just really, really cringy. You don't have comic versions of them in the sleeve anymore, which is sad. But I think the sleeves are designed kind of cool because every picture on here is designed to represent each song on each side. Because the album is red this time, the vinyl is red as well, and they're probably my favourite. It's time for another soundtrack again. So this time we've got the La La Land original motion picture soundtrack. Whoop whoop whoop. I'm not a big fan of musicals, but La La Land I kind of liked. I liked loads of songs. I love the dance performances. I love the performances of Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone. And the vinyl itself is blue, just like the freaking Halsey one, but this is more beautiful because it's from La La Land. Moving on to my favourite band. I teased it before by talking about Pete Doherty, but it's the Libertines. The Libertines Out the Bracket, their first album, which came out, when did it come out? 2002. This is great. It's pretty old school rock and roll lifestyle songs. I always say, like, each Libertines record has its own topic that they want to discuss, and this one is just the happiness and having friends, the friendship of Pete and Carl, the frontman, which is pretty cool. This is why I really love this one, because it just doesn't have any negativity in it, which will change obviously. It's got some of their most iconic songs. Oh, actually, like, it's Pete and Carl on the back. As time progresses, gets more emotional with the Libertines. So we've got the Libertines self-titled album, the one that so many people know, with a photograph that so many people know. It's such an iconic album cover. I love it. They did so much right, but well, when this became #1 in the charts, like, the Libertines weren't even the Libertines anymore. They kicked Pete out and stuff like that. So this is actually really what this album is about. It's about the relationship of Pete and Carl, and if they can still work it out together. This is what they ask in the first song, Can't Stand Me Now. And then they answer this question in the last song, what became of the likely lads, and they said, we'll never know. Well, however, if you like read up on the story of them, or to spoil it to you, they got back together in 2015 and they released a new album, which is this one, Anthems for Doomed Youth. And this one kind of deals with finding back together. Don't want to bore you with more Libertine stuff anymore, but I've got the Pete Doherty solo record that was released last year. Hamburg Demonstrations. Don't recommend listening to this if you don't know who Pete or the Libertines are even, because this was recorded over a long period of time, before his rehab in Thailand and after his rehab in Thailand. Like, it has songs about Amy Winehouse's death and songs about the Paris terrorist attacks on it. Okay, next up we've got Royal Blood's first album, self-titled Royal Blood. I love this album. When it came out, I was just listening to this one. This came out in 2014. I saw them live in that year so many times. Ooh, I watched this band grow from like baby small and till #1 in the UK charts. If you follow Royal Blood, you should know that they have a new album out, which is this one. Yeah, looks aesthetically as pleasing as the first one. Pretty cool. This is called How Did We Get So Dark? Yeah, I think it's called How Did We Get So Dark, which is also the opening track of it. This one's a grower. It's not like instantly loving it like the first one, but it's as good. I freaking love it. And this vinyl comes in clear. Yay! This is Slave's first album. Are you satisfied with this iconic cover and the disco ball on the back? Love Slaves is again a two-piece of drums and guitar, but this time the drummer sings. Yep, and I also have their second album, Take Control by Slaves. This was also produced by Mike D from Beastie Boys, so he left a touch on it, especially on the song Consume or Be Consumed. Oh, props to VNYL, they sent me one record that I liked, which is here, Human Ceremony by Sunflower Bean. They sound a lot like Wolf Alice, which I talked before about before. Full on hipster mode, but this is the Smiths, The Queen is Dead. I love the Smiths. I love Morrissey. He's funny. I love his songwriting. The Queen is Dead is my favourite album of them. Some songs make me sad. Some songs of Morrissey make me smile. Which is funny, like, especially Cemetery Gates makes me smile so much. We got Morrissey twerking or something. I've been talking about Wolf Alice so much, and finally we are at the letter W. So we've got the album, the debut album of Wolf Alice, which is called My Love Is Cool. They show many genres on this one. From loud, grungy, screaming rock and Giant Peach, and everyone fucking loves the song Giant Peach, to like beautiful hymns about friendship and the song Bros, and very quiet, thoughtful songs like Silk. The last 3 albums and all from the same band. Can you guess it? Can you guess it? It's the XX. Been a fan of the XX since I was 13 when they released this first fucking album, self-titled X or the XX or XX, I don't fucking know. I love Crystallized. I was listening to this alone in my room and stuff. Next one, this is heavy, this is heavy. This is their second album, Coexist. This one starts with the song Angels, and Angels is just a beautiful song. You have to listen to it. They came back together to do their latest album that came out just this year. Ooh, fluorescent. And it's I See You. Yeah, right? I can see you there. It's got all these songs on here and it's just so beautiful. I love every single song on this one. If you don't like minimalist pop indie stuff, then skip these ones and go straight to this one. This is more dancey. So thank you for watching everything. These were all of my records that I own right now. So be excited for what might come next. I don't fucking know what I'm talking anymore. As you heard, I pre-ordered some more records. So expect some updates on this collection because I love watching this. I love people showing off their records because it really shows what is important to them, and this is really beautiful. I just put this off very long, so now I had to like show a bulk of records at once. Probably the updates wouldn't be like that because I don't buy 2 or 3 records every week. Thank you for joining until this one. If you watched it all the way through and you recognized some of the artists and albums that I just showed, you can comment down below and tell me what your favorite out of my collection was, or if you like any of the people in my collections, or if I inspired you to check an artist or band out and you like them and I got you into the fandom of the Libertines or something. I hope not. I don't fucking hope not. This is if you're in the Libertines fandom, it's just it's a war. It's a fucking war. Says words as One Direction or something like that. It's just One Direction with heroin and crack addiction. Thank you for bearing with me. I'm mentally done at this point. I can't think straight anymore. Thank you. Goodbye.